Today is first shots. I have fired 0 rounds through this. I just laid down here on the 100-yard range. Hey guys, thanks for watching Precision Rifle Network. Joel here. Today is first shots through my new Hunter Series / Field Match rifle. So I went to the Competition Dynamics Team Safari here a couple of months ago, and I took my PRS rifle, which is an MDT ACC chassis, custom action, you know, had some weights in it, this same Atlas Cal bipod, went with my Zero Compromise optic scope, and that rifle was probably pushing 20 pounds, something like that. And it shot fine, and it was in 6 GT, but it just was the wrong caliber. And I came away from that match really wanting to change up some gear and put together a custom rifle specifically for that type of shooting. And so far, this is where I landed. So again, I'm going with the Terminus Zeus action because I like the switch barrel capability and just the field serviceability of the trigger and various other things. Proof spun up a pre-fit for me. It is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. So again, it's a 24-inch length. I should be able to meet power factor for the NRL Hunter Series. Should be able to. I'm not 100% certain yet. I went with the Vortex LHT up here, the Razor HD LHT up here on top, and this is a 4.5 to 22 by 50. And I think that magnification range will be perfect for the Hunter type series. Good mill scope, but the scope itself is lightweight. It's like 1.5 pounds, weighs half of what any of their other Razor scopes weighs. I've got a Trigger Tech Diamond trigger in here, 2-stage. Not actually, this is a single stage in here. I've got the MDT comp brake currently out on front because I need to do a review on that as well. It is sitting in a grayboe Phoenix stock, and this total package weighs in at about 11.5 pounds. I'm going to fire my initial shots, just trying to get the scope, you know, dialed in, slip my turrets, and then in theory we'll head over here to the long range. Okay, now we're ready for first shots. I won't give you the full details, but sometimes I'm a bonehead. I mean, more often than not, I'm a bonehead. The last time I ran my Terminus action, it was actually, I had a 223 barrel put on there, and I go to put the 6.5 Creed in here, and I run the bolt, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm starting to get all pissed, like, you know, somebody didn't chamber the barrel correctly. It's, you know, 6.5's not even whatever. I'm starting to get all mad, and then I take the bolt out, and I'm like, I had the 223 bolt in the action instead of a standard short action. Yeah, anyway, thankfully I had my other bolt with me. Now we're good. Problems. It's tough being me, guys. I mean, you know, go ahead and check out those sponsors down in the comments and buy something, because I'm gonna need all the help I can get, apparently. Oh, look at that. Bolt closes. Huh. Amazing. Amazing how when you have the right stuff. Ooh, that looks pretty good down there. Now I'm gonna clean. I'm a guy who usually fires like 3 rounds cleans, 3 rounds clean, 3 rounds cleans, and then I just run it. Well guys, I figured I'd take just a minute to talk about the MDT competition brake. So these are literally my first, say, 7 to 10 shots with it, and it's a 3-port brake, but it's also got these little holes up on top here that you can actually, like if you loosen these screws up here, there's a plate in there where you can slide and kind of tune this to where you really like the feel of. Right now I've got them full open, so of course you can picture the gases are coming out and back, which moves the rifle forward, which reduces that felt recoil but also it's porting out the top, which presses down and is supposed to help you know, just be able to see your spot your impacts downrange a little bit more, because you're not getting quite as much, you know, upward movement of the rifle. And so far it seems to be good. It's on par with any of the other top brakes as far as recoil mitigation. I'm gonna have to get over to the long range on some plates out there at distance and see if I can tell the difference in just, you know, that hop, but so far seems pretty great. All right, get these turrets slipped. Let's over to long range. I'm over here, positional, obviously off the rock, and I've got a target array out there. It's a plate rack at about 385 yards, and my entire goal right now, because I did not chronograph this, which I rarely do. I typically zero my rifles and then I go straight to a 300-ish range on a big plate. And I true everything at that distance. I will get hits on this big plate out here, which I should be on plate. Once I see where I'm hitting, I will adjust with my scope, 1/10 or 2 or whatever it may be, and then I'll go into my Kestrel and I'll make my muzzle velocity match that. And then I'll stretch it out to like 600. I'll do that again, and then I'll go to like a truing bar out at 1,000 yards. And at 1,000 yards, depending on where I'm hitting, I will adjust my BC. And typically that curve lines up pretty good. I already took my target direction. I inputted my wind. I think it's a 3 to 5 from about my 10 o'clock. So I went ahead and put that in. All right, 1.6. Hit the plate. It's pretty dirty though, so I'm not exactly sure where. I think I'm just about right. Let me hit the other plate here. It's got just a little bit more clean on it. It was a little low left maybe. Get 1.7. Try that again. Okay, there's our perfect water line. Wind call was 2/10, which was good. So we ended up being 1.7. I'm gonna change my feet per second to where that says 1.7, so I needed a little more. That means it's running a little slower than what I've got. Let's take 25 feet per second off. 1.7 exactly. So right now I'm operating off of the fact that I think this is running 2775 for 130 grain 6.5 Creeds. That was 3 consecutive hits on about a 1 MOA plate at 385, so I'm happy with that. We're gonna move up the hill here, get a little bit more distance, 600-ish, and see if we can smack the steel there. There's 3.5, and we're gonna go 3 to 4/10 of left wind, in theory. You guys getting a butt crack show back here? We can't have that. Impact. Wind call was actually a little bit aggressive. I'm on the pro side of the plate. And I need 1 more 1/10 of data in theory. So I'm going to send another one here. Here we go. Clean miss off the pro side. Yeah, okay. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to change my kestrel now. So I needed an extra 1/10, which means I'm going a little slower yet than I thought I was down before. So I needed, oh no, actually, no, I'm right on, actually. Yeah, I'm right on. So 590 called for 3.56. I would round that up to 3.6. I actually didn't account for that when I first dialed it in. I think I dialed in 3.5, and then you saw me dial up a 1/10 to get it squared up. It actually is 3.56. I just forgot to round up that extra 1/10 this time. So I would normally round that up to 3.6. It was 3.6. So my muzzle velocity of 2775 is good out to roughly 600 yards. So now I'm going to head down to the long range stuff and see if I can't get it trued up at 1,000 or beyond. Alright guys, so now we've got 905, 1005, and 1105 yards. And my 1105 out there has got a truing bar. So I'm gonna just try to get on at 9. We're calling for 7.3 mils. Just off. Should be pretty dang close, I would think. Let's try the smaller plate so I can actually see the miss on the dirt berm, hopefully. Okay, got it. Wow, that's a lot less wind than I thought. So I held a 1/2 mil left that time. It actually ended up only being about 2/10. So let's take that 2/10 hold back over to our plate. Hold that. Ding! Right on the water line. 2/10 was the right hold. I'm actually squared up as far as my water line is concerned. I'm going to go ahead and go out to 1,005 now. And I'm going to give it the same wind to start with, actually. Ding. And it looks like actually I needed no wind that time. Let's hold no wind. Beauty. Okay, let's go to the 11. I think that'll be better. 1105. Again, you won't hear a ding. We're going off the truing bar, just trying to spot our miss over that bar and then true up our data. Okay, I was 2/10 high. Beauty. I think that's what we need. Let's put one on plate at that distance. Ding. 1105. And we are waterline. Let's get another one on there on the small plate if we can. I actually went high again. I believe it was me, but let's go. Ding. That's center. Give it one more. Yep. Catching just the edge of that guy, of that smaller plate, but we're there. Called for 10.5. I ended up backing down to 10.3. So let's adjust the BC to be a little slipperier out there. So I've got my BC Trude, muzzle velocity Trude. That should be a good curve. Let's go ahead and hit a couple more targets out there at a little bit further distance. Make sure we're hitting where we think we're hitting. Let's go back to the 905 real quick. Ding. Looking good there. Well, I didn't really expect to hit that one. That is a tiny plate, man. 2/10 at 905 yards. I'm not really sure what that is, but that's... Oh, now I got something loose. That could be an issue. Not good. Get that locked back down. Jeez. Alright, let's go again on that one. That same one, since I was seeing some inconsistency. Impact. I'll try that tiny one again. Oh, just barely off. I mean, that's within... It's within a tenth or a tenth and a half, something like. It's less than 2/10, and it's just hitting right off the edge of the plate. You know, factory ammo. That'd be a tough shot. So I think I'm gonna leave it. This thing is sweet. This is gonna be just right, I believe, for what I want for field matches and for, you know, competition dynamics matches. You know, the hunter matches are rarely going to get out to 1,000 yards. The competition dynamics matches rarely get out to 1,000 yards. I'm obviously not having any trouble hitting appropriately sized plates out there. The big ones are probably 2.5 MOA, something like that. They might be slightly larger out there at 1,100 and at 1,000. I am going for the bigger plate. A couple of the dings were the smaller plate, but I really wasn't consistent on the small plate out there at the far distances. I brought it down to 9, and the 900 yard plate is sub MOA, and I was just off the edge of it. Like it was, one was high, one was right, one was low, just off the edge. So I think I'm just finding the group size out there of the Federal Gold Medal 130 grain. It's pretty consistent, but it is still just factory ammo after all. And, you know, I'm probably 40 rounds in to a brand new barrel, so I'm going to be seeing some speeding up and some inconsistencies until it's completely broken in. But suffice it to say, I think this thing is going to be sweet. The scope tracked true. Again, this is the Vortex Viper HD. I'm sorry, the Vortex Razor HD LHT. It's lightweight, but clicks are positive. Covered windage cap, which I like, even though I do dial for wind a lot. I think that I'll be fine with that. Good zero stop, lighted reticle, all the things, you know. I think it's going to be all right. Finishing up, just my final thoughts about the MDT competition muzzle brake. Man, softens that recoil. It's so nice. And even though this gun is pretty lightweight, I did notice that I'm able, like, it's taming that muzzle hop, that muzzle flip enough that it's helping me to see my impacts downrange as long as the rest of my fundamentals are sound. If I don't mess up my natural point of aim. If I mess up my natural point of aim, then I'm still coming off target. But as long as my NPA is good, the muzzle brake is really helping to keep that muzzle flip down. So again, shout out to MDT for sending over their competition brake for me to review. I like it. I think I'm going to run it. I think I'm going to just leave it on this rifle and run it. It seems to be performing well. I am going to switch to the MDT SkyPod double pull for these matches. I just don't get quite as much of the articulation and angles that I want for these different positional shots with the Atlas Cal, even though it's rock solid and it's very steady. it's decent. It's just I'm gonna switch probably on that. The Trigger Tech diamond trigger in here is great. I have no issues with that whatsoever. It is a 2-stage, which I actually like because, no, this one's single stage. I'm gonna switch to 2-stage because I like being able to stage that. You get pressure on the trigger to that first stage and then break it exactly when I want. I feel like I'm more prone to yanking a trigger if it's a single stage. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but. And I've got the grayboe Phoenix stock here, which is really nice. It's lightweight. The ergonomics are good for what I'm doing here, and you know, adding the Arca rail underneath was the cat's meow. So, initial report for the field gun, guys. Terminus Zeus Action 6.5 Creedmoor. Again, shout out to Proof. Thanks for the barrel. And to MDT, thanks for the muzzle brake. Guys, hit the channel sponsors down in the description below, please. You can use code PRN10 for 10% off at Secure Storage Solutions. You can use PRN10 for 10% off at Coltac. You've got a few others down there. Make sure and check those out. I get a tiny bit back on a couple of those. The Axle brand, it's PRN15. The other two, it's just a discount to you guys. So check those out for your own benefits, and stay tuned for another great video from Precision Rifle Network.